A new poll shows that Americans are not buying the White House's green energy push. According to Gallup, just 9% of Americans are seriously considering buying an EV. Age is a factor in the data. 63% of people ages 65 and up say they would not buy an electric vehicle. For a reaction to all of this, let's welcome Congresswoman Cammack from the House Energy and Commerce Committee. Great to see you, Congresswoman. Thanks for coming in again. What do you make of these numbers? What jumps out at me is the White House has been trying to jam EVs down people's throats. Americans just don't like it when the government tells them what to do they?
No, David. I mean, that's exactly it. Americans aren't buying EVs, but they're also not buying the BS that the Biden administration is trying to shove down their throats. This is 100% the heavy hand of government. And let's be clear, when it comes to the EVs, we know the critical minerals that are involved in producing them. We know that they are not friendly to the environment. So if we're being honest, the only thing that's green about the so-called green agenda is the color of the money that they are having to mass print and produce in order to pay for it. Of course, all at the expense of the American taxpayers. And no one is interested in this because you can't even afford them to begin with under the Biden administration.
So it's expensive and it's not having any effect. In fact, it's having the opposite effect. Again, there are reasons to have electric cars. Tesla, I'm told, makes a great car. I like it when an Uber comes as a Tesla because it has a wonderful open window at the top. That glass roof is incredible. However, the fact is that Americans just don't they're not one size fits all kind of people. That's one reason so many Americans objected to Obamacare.
Absolutely. You know, my husband and I, we took a weekend road trip about a year ago and decided to rent a Tesla just to see what it was like. We had to stop multiple times along the route, plan this entire trip out to where we could actually charge the vehicle. And in most cases, we spent more than an hour and a half charging the vehicle rather than getting on the road. I mean, it was just ridiculous. And no one wants to live their life that way. I don't know many people who have time like that. And in a state like Florida, where we're hurricane prone, where we have evacuations with Cat 4s and 5s bearing down on the state, it's been proven that these are not economically feasible, but they can be dangerous. Yeah. So we have a lot to consider when we're thinking about our nation's grid, which of course can't support the needs of the EV economy as the Biden administration sees it.
That's a whole other aspect of their plans too. But you know, I tried to remind Pete Buttigieg of this, of the transportation secretary. I had an interview with him in December. I just want to play a little bit of that tape and get your reaction. Roll it.
I don't know a lot of people who think that Americans in 2050 are still going to be driving that old technology, that combustion technology that we inherited from the 20th century.
Americans
but the big question is, well, no, you're not going to meet a lot of people who ever go back after they've gone electric, and I think that really tells you something.
Well, Congressman, a lot of EV drivers in Chicago, after the big chill when their Teslas weren't working because of the cold weather, I don't think they're going to go back to an EV. Do you?
No, and as we would say in the South, David, bless his heart. My goodness. You know, it is remarkable what people are saying, but as we know, under the Biden administration, they say one thing and then do a complete other. It's basically what we saw out of him, where he had a Tahoe drive him 3 blocks away from his office, and then he gets out, pulls a bicycle out of the back, and then pedals up to his building to show that he's somehow green and for the environment. But we all know that it's smoke and mirrors under this administration. People are not buying them because they are not economically feasible, and they're just not usable for the type of environment that we are in right now. So I can bet you any amount of money that come 2050,